Hi everyone, it's Stephanie Weaver here in the Blue and Yellow Kitchen in San Diego, California, under stay-at-home orders with Microwave Boy on the camera. Hi Microwave Boy.
Hello, Steph.
And today I'm making sort of a sausage hash. It's very adaptable. I've got about a tablespoon of olive oil in there, and I've maybe a cup of diced whatever color onion you've got. I would say that if you've got a real big onion, about a quarter of the onion is fine. This makes 2 to 3 servings. So you can hear we've got that nice sizzle.
What's the temperature on that?
Well, so this is not something most people have, but I did remember I had this electric skillet, and that way I can stand here and cook. So it's about 325, but it's really a medium heat. I've also got some sliced celery from the freezer that I froze. So if you need to see any videos in this series, I have one all about prepping and storing vegetables, including what you can freeze. So check the Quarantine Kitchen series, whether you're watching on YouTube or watching on Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those in because they are frozen. And then let me just talk about the sausage options. So this is homemade Mexican chicken chorizo from a recipe. Those onions are strong. I'm just going to move over here a little bit. From Confessions of a Foodie, and I'll post the link. This is not something I'm expecting you to have. So what might you have instead? You might have spicy jalapeno chicken sausage, something like this. You might have chorizo. You might have soy chorizo. You might have just ground meat, in which case you could just throw that in the pan, and while you're cooking it, top it with some hatch chili powder or any kind of chili powder. So, like I said, very adaptable. If you have a pre-cooked sausage like this, I would dice it up in about the same size dice as the other, the vegetables. And if you have a raw, uncooked sausage, I would pull it out of the casing. So slice open the casing and just dump the sausage crumble in there. So what I'm looking for from this is I'm getting the tricky thing with this electric skillet is that temperature control is not great, so you can see that I'm already getting a little bit of over browning on some of these onion and under browning on the other. It's okay, it'll all work. My other two ideal ingredients for this are red bell pepper, and some cooked potatoes, which I pre-cooked in filtered water in the microwave, about 7 minutes. They're gold potatoes. And the reason I pre-cook them, you can just cook them in the pan, but then it takes a lot longer. And the texture is really nice. Then you're kind of getting that twice cooked potato situation.
So how do you know the potatoes cook? Is it just a little bit tender or
Yeah,
soft,
so I don't want them, I don't want them all the way overly cooked through. So I might have cooked them a little bit. So these are still pretty firm. What you want is you want them firm in the pan. You don't want them to break apart. So for my not super strong microwave, I did 7 minutes, and it was about 2 cups of water, and it was 2 small potatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the sausage in here. And so that was frozen. Been defrosting in the fridge for 2 days. This is made from ground chicken. It's my friend Annie Arandula's recipe. Delicious. Not expecting anything you guys would make given quarantine stay-at-home order situation. But you might have frozen sausage. You might have breakfast sausage. So any of this in
use a white meat
kielbasa,
like a chicken or a pork or?
Yeah, or any ground meat, and then I would add that chili powder type flavor. So what I'm looking for the chicken is we're going to get that fully cooked. So right now I'm going to move this out of the way because I want to show you my little trick with the potatoes. I use these kitchen towels for everything. Now this is a relatively new one. It's still really nice and pretty. I've cooked a lot this weekend, so all the other less pretty ones are ready to be washed again. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dry this potato because I want it to be pretty dry when it goes in the pan. So I'm not steaming it. I want it to fry with these other ingredients. So I'm just going to kind of absorb that, mop up that moisture. Now you can see, and the spices in Annie's recipe are incredible. So I'm getting all of these I'm getting, I think there's cinnamon in there. There's all different kinds of dried chili peppers. This particular, her recipe is not spicy in terms of hot, but it is, there's a ton of flavor. And so when I make it, I buy chicken thighs. I have a meat grinding attachment. Again, these are not things normal people have. Grind up my own chicken. You can buy pre-ground chicken. And then I make up a bunch of the sauce, and then I freeze it in 8-ounce packages. So then when I want this yummy dish, I can just thaw a small amount for flavoring. Like I said, you can use many kinds of sausage for this. So I'll give it, obviously, whatever those flavors are. But, and you can see that this is pretty close to being cooked already because the ground chicken's gonna cook really quickly. So I'm ready to put in my other ingredients, which are just bell pepper, and then these potatoes, which I've dried.
You now have a shroud of potato.
Yes, a shroud, the shroud of potato. Yes. All right, so we're gonna just give that a nice stir, and then I would probably cook this another 7 or 8 minutes, so it's really crispy. You want, obviously, you want to make sure the chicken is completely cooked, or whatever meat you're using is completely cooked through. If you're using a pre-cooked sausage, that's not a concern. But yeah, you could use ground pork, ground beef. Leaner would be better. If you were using a fattier meat like regular ground beef or ground pork, I would start the meat first, cook it pretty close to through, drain most of that fat, remove the beef, and then add the vegetables, just so it's not an overly fatty dish. And then once you get it really all cooked through, so we want to make sure that I knew my onions were, sorry, I gotta stand on this too. I knew my onions were cooked already. I want to make sure that celery is cooked, so you can see the color coming out of the celery. I want to get some nice color browning on the red pepper. I want to get some browning on the potatoes, which we know are just about cooked through, so we, again, want them to have 3 or 4 minutes. And then I'm going to, at that point, when everything I feel like is cooked, I'm going to taste and say, does it need a little bit more chili powder? Does it need some salt and pepper? Probably it will. And, but this is a super adaptable dish. I make it every couple of weeks when I kind of have a taste for it. And these should be ingredients you should be able to get nowadays. So I just wanted to share. And then in terms of topping it, so those of you who hate cilantro, it's okay. It's not your fault. Some people have a gene that makes cilantro taste like soap to them, in which case, don't get cilantro. But if you have access to fresh cilantro, I would you can just snip it literally like right into the dish at the end, because you wanted that really fresh element to stay fresh. Other toppings could be grated cheese, thinly sliced green onions, if you have either of those components. But what's happening now is that most of the moisture is cooked off, which is good. I'm going to need to watch the temperature, especially on this particular appliance, to make sure it doesn't burn anything. But what I'm looking for and what I'm starting to get is a little bit of browning on these potatoes and some browning on some of those other vegetables. And you can see that the meat is getting browner as well. So when I feel like that's, really all very nice and brown, probably another 3 minutes, then I would turn it off, add my toppings, and go ahead and serve it. So if you're watching on YouTube, please follow me on Facebook, Stephanie Weaver MPH. I'm S. Weaver MPH. Sorry, I hadn't considered the whole steam situation, but it's good. It's cooking. Clearly it's cooking. S. Weaver MPH on all the other platforms. And there's an entire series of these quarantine kitchen videos available. So I go through prepping vegetables, how to shop in bulk, all kinds of dishes like this, really simple, quick, easy things to make that are very tasty and should be available with ingredients that you can readily get at stores. Don't forget your local markets. They can be struggling right now, and they also are getting regular deliveries. Also check to see if there's any local farms that are offering produce boxes right now. That's a great way to support local farms. And also, a lot of restaurants have pivoted to selling groceries. So those are all ways you can get groceries, fresh ingredients like this, without having to stand in line for 2 hours at a regular big grocery store. And you'll be supporting those local businesses. So at this point, I'm going to turn this heat down because I'm starting to get, even though this is non-stick, I'm starting to get some sticking on the bottom. But I am getting some nice browning. So again, like I said, probably about 2 or 3 more minutes. Adjust the heat down a little bit so I don't burn anything. And then this will be a really yummy lunch or dinner for us. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all again soon. Stay well, stay inside, wear a mask when you're outside. We'll get through this thing. Bye.